If you are in my class, if you are in Mrs. Relaford's class, just remember this could be a grade. So you are absolutely responsible for this paper and the independent practice that you have to complete on your own. No, I don't know how to do it. No, the sub didn't help me. You have 2 tutoring opportunities between now and the next time I see you. You have a video to help you, and this is day 2 of solving equations. So you need to do what you can. Directions say to solve a 2-step equation, you must isolate the variable by using inverse operations to keep your equation balanced. To remember to do this, draw a line down your equal sign. Step 1 is to add or subtract the same amount from both sides. You can write the words or the symbols. Step 2, you rewrite the equation, and then you do step 2, you're going to multiply or divide. And then step 3 is to check. All right, example number 1, we're going to draw a line down the middle of our equation. And step 1 is to add or subtract. So if we look, we need x on one side all by himself. So we need to move number 5 and number 3. Which one is being added or subtracted? 3. And is it right now, is it being added or subtracted? It's being added, so we are going to subtract. And then you're going to rewrite the equation. Step 2 is to multiply or divide. Is 5 being multiplied times x or divided? It's being multiplied, so we are going to divide because we do the opposite. These cancel out. You're left with x equals 4. Good job. All right, we have 3a minus 14 equals 4. So you're going to draw a line, and you're going to add 14, because you need to move 3 and 14. So positive and negative cancel out. So you have 3a equals 4 plus 14 is 18. And then you're going to divide by 3, because we're multiplying by 3, so now I have to divide by 3. These cancel out. I have a equals 6. Not too bad. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Get creative. It's the same process, but we got to make sure we follow all the rules. If you get it wrong, it's not usually because you don't know what you're doing. It's usually because you didn't follow negative rules or something. All right, step 1 is to add or subtract. I have 8 and negative 5. Do you want to go ahead and boom, boom this? Let's do that. Boom, boom. I have 8 and negative 5. Which one is being multiplied? Five is being multiplied, so that means 8 is the adder or subtractor. So I have to move 8 first. Is this a positive 8 or a negative 8? It's positive. I don't see a negative in front of it, so we're going to minus 8 from both sides. These cancel out, and on this side, I'm left with negative 5w. Don't lose your negative. It matters. And on this side, I have negative 37 minus 8. Boom, boom. I have a negative and a negative. Same signs add. And I always keep the sign of the big number. So this is where you're going to make your mistake. Now when you divide, you're going to divide by -5. These are going to cancel out and you have W. 45 divided by 5 is 9, and they're both negative. So according to tic-tac-toe, negative divided by negative gives me positive. That's a lot of rules you have to keep track of. All the rules, all the time. All right, draw your line. I have a minus sign, so I'm going to go ahead and go boom, boom. Add or subtract first. Well, it looks to me like 3 is being multiplied, so it's -5 that I have to get rid of. What's the opposite of -5? +5. And then step 2 is to multiply or divide. This is 3 times y, so I'm going to divide by 3. Almost wanted to write 6, but 24 divided by 3 is 8. All right, these are not crazy. You're just gonna plot them on the. You're just going to plot them on the number line below. So, first step is add or subtract. Subtract 7 from both sides. I have 2.5m because these cancel out. 15 minus 7 is 8. So now I'm going to divide by 2.5 because that's step 2. These cancel out. I'm left with m equals whatever 8 divided by 2.5 is. .2. So on my number line, where's 3.2? Wow, that's it. That's all you have to do. I'm not going to do the next one with you. You don't need me to do the next one with you. All right, these are the ones that make us nervous. These I'm going to do with you. Once you see a fraction, your heart starts beating faster and you don't think you know what you're doing and you start getting upset, and guys, stop. Stop. It's even easier than when it's not a fraction. So, this says x over 5. This, oh my, me. X over 5 is the same thing as x divided by 5, right? So this is x divided by 5 minus 16. And I'm going to boom, boom, turn that into plus -16. I'm going to follow the same steps. Step 1 is to add or subtract. Which number? I need to move 5 and 16. Which number is being added or subtracted? -16. What's the opposite of -16? Right? +16. So on this side, the 16s cancel out, and I'm left with x divided by 5 equals 20. Now step 2 says to multiply or divide. Up until now, everything's been multiplied by x, but this time it's being divided. What's the opposite of divide? Multiply. We are going to multiply times 5. It's divided by 5. We're going to multiply times 5. These cancel out because multiplying and dividing are opposite. You have x equals 20 times 5, which is 100. So see, if they're dividing, you get to multiply. All right, let's do the next one. It's even different, right? Let's do what we know. We know step 1 is to multiply or divide. So add or subtract. So I'm going to subtract 15 because I know that's what I'm going to do first. Might as well do what I can. These cancel out and I'm left with 3/4 x. This is 3/4 times x, right? So step 2 is to multiply or divide. If this is being multiplied, we are going to divide. So we are going to divide by 3/4. Now here's the cool thing. Dividing by 3/4 is the same thing as multiplying by 4/3, right? Keep, change, flip. Keep whatever number's here. Change, flip. So instead of even doing any of this, I'm just going to cut straight to the part that gets me the answer. So 3/4 x, I'm going to multiply times 4/3 on both sides. These cancel out. They equal 1 when you multiply. So they're opposites, they cancel out. 3 times 4/3 equals 4. And guys, don't get upset about fractions. You are multiplying and dividing. You're multiplying by 4 and dividing by 3. You can even do it backwards. Divide by 3 and then multiply by 4. It doesn't matter. Get the same answer. So x equals 4. Not too bad. I do want to do 1 or 2 with you on your independent practice. So if you started on your own and you need to come back and double check a couple, it might be some that I'm doing. All right, I want to talk about number 4, or I'm afraid you might want to talk about number 4. If you write too big to use the equation they give you, you can totally rewrite it. In real life, I probably would, just because I write too big for this tiny little typewriter. Step 1 is to add or subtract. We're not scared of that. These cancel out. I'm left with c divided by -6. Over here, I have negative and a negative. Boom, boom. That's the same signs. I gotta keep my negative. Now for step 2, this is divide by -6. You are going to multiply times -6. These cancel out and you're left with c, and then whatever -19 times -6 is. And it should be a positive. Just saying. I know I'm doing it backwards. Now I want to talk about number 3. So if you're stuck on something that looks like number 3, subtract 2.6. Here's the deal. When you write it like this, it looks like 23 minus 26. But this is 23 and 2.6. You still have to line up the decimals. These are both negative, so you're actually adding. So you have 25.6. Oh, sorry, it's more negative. Sorry. Negative minus negative gives you more negative. So we have negative 25.6 equals 2e. And then you know to divide from there.